Hey everybody, welcome back to Ready Steady Play. We're just about to go through our final thoughts on Spirit Island.
I love the fact we won again through fear. I mean, it says in the book that's the second way to win. It seems to be the...
Well, we didn't win through fear, though. We won through destroying all the cities.
No, but fear made that possible.
Yeah, but you can actually win through fear by simply getting 4 terror levels.
Yeah.
Or by playing out all the fear cards in the deck.
I love what that must mean. It's just like...
So you could have, all the cities and towns and everything on the board.
Yeah.
But you get to the end of the game by playing all the fear deck, and you've won it. And I guess they're so scared that they literally just abandon all their cities and towns.
Roanoke. You must know that legend. It goes put around a lot. English colony vanished without a trace. Croatoan carved into a tree. Suspicious amount of blonde-haired, blue-eyed children born to a local Native American tribe, which, for some reason, they never seemed to put together.
Huh.
Yeah. It was an abandoned colony. They picked the worst place for it. It was like bracken water and everything. But yeah, I liked it.
The game?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, as much as I thought level 2, crap, we were really struggling, it was only for the first couple of turns and we really pulled it back.
It's very, it requires you to be very on top of things. I feel like if you're not on top of what's happening, it could frustrate you.
Yeah, it's also a game where communication is really important, especially when you're planning what you're going to do the next turn.
It gets super involved, and I love that about it. Like, once it starts going, I'm so invested. I'm just like, I want to play these powers. I sort of wish, in a weird kind of way, that we had more unique powers.
Yeah, having only 4 to start with feels a little limiting.
It feels like... So it's funny, because in the very starter set of the game, they give all the low complexity powers a special sort of like a power tree, and it tells you instead of drawing 4 and drafting one, you just get one specifically when you get a power card, and then you have to gain them in a specific order, and they're sort of thematically themed around your powers and stuff.
Okay.
And I like that a lot. And the reason we didn't do it is because it's only for the learning game. And after that, you just do it like this.
Random.
But drafting all the powers and then especially swapping them and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea that we just sort of became a maelstrom of supernatural power.
Yeah.
Just entwining our power together and just being like,
basically
fire, roots,
lightning,
flaming trees running around. You know, it's like, what is happening?
Which is funny because you were originally like, I'm not sure we're going to get use out of this power, and it became the linchpin of several major destructions.
Well, I feel like it did cost us quite a lot to take it.
Yes.
But it really paid off.
That not taking the high damage one did cause us some problems in the short term. Yeah. But, I mean, I knew that...
But being able to each gain 3 energy every round...
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, for me it was actually a net gain of 1 because I'd spending 2 to cast it.
Yeah, but I was loving it, and I was making sure...
Maybe not each round, it was every, second round or whatever, but...
It was more often than not, and because I had that boon of resources.
Elemental boon.
Elemental boon.
Because
I played
they're
it that many times and forgot the name. But I played that every time where you're like, oh, I need this, this, and this. Got it. And I think I benefited from that once, but it didn't matter because I was effectively going, right, well, I can't do what he can do.
Well, one of the things that was quite useful, because of my growth, I have a growth that always happens, and because of your ability to utilize the Dahan sites as well, it actually meant that we didn't need to worry about spreading our presence a lot. Like, we kind of just naturally spread our presence around, which meant that we could basically reclaim cards almost every round, sort of without too much penalty. Our main issue became generating energy by reclaiming cards every round.
Yeah, because we did have some really high cost stuff we wanted to pull off.
Well, towards the end of the game, sure, but I mean, even in the middle of the game, it was we were quite low energy.
Yeah. I do remember a couple of turns. It was like,
but I think what I was going to say was I think it shows the gift of energy or whatever that one I had was the constancy that you had and the entwined power. Those 3 cards that got us energy became hugely important to our setup.
Yeah, no, that's without a doubt. And I think in a 3 or more player game, the impact on an individual would be a lot less because we'd be spreading it around more. Like if those same 3 cards came up, it's very unlikely it would have been I had 1 of them, you had 2 of them. It would be more likely one of us each had the 3, and then you're competing for the energy. There was no competition here.
Well, there's no competition.
There's absolutely no, like if I had something, I would use it for Mike's turn, even though it does me nothing, because I know that's better. Whereas a third person might be like, no, I've got a really great idea to do. Which is something that can make a 3-player game different and more challenging. So it's not a bad thing, but I think we got to that stage quite easily where it made no sense not to do it.
Yeah, I feel like actually there were points where we might have played suboptimally just to sort of use the cards we wanted and be clever.
Yeah. But it was like the turn where I said, oh, I need 9 energy to do this. I've got 3. Can you give me 6 more energy? And you're like, yep, I can do that. I need you to do this. I can do this. You can do this, and I can do this, and then I could do everything that I wanted to do that turn. And yeah,
it is. It really is a game that sort of rewards. But the thing is, as well, like it's so. And towards the end, it was. Yeah, as we sort of got into a flow and a rhythm of the combos we'd set up, it became easier to sort of see the patterns. But at the start of the game, there was a lot of like sort of. We've got to deal with this, and we've got to deal with that. How are we going to do this? So the start of the game is sort of problem solving by sort of taking risks and mitigating risks.
Yeah.
Whereas the second half of the game, you've already established your powers and your combos, and it's more about
maximizing their impact.
Maximizing their impact and making sure you keep the cogs of the machine turning. Because when those Explorer cards get up to level 3 and you've got 2 regions coming out per card, that's when if you mess up your machine and it stutters, that's when suddenly there's a bunch more invaders there.
I do find it funny though, we were really worried about running out of time. We had 4 rounds left effectively.
Yep, so that's 4 of 12 left, so we used 8, which isn't actually that bad.
No, what I mean is that we were under the assumption that we had to really hurry up and get it done quickly, and that wasn't a bad idea because we did. And
I mean, but the thing is, like, we only had 1 level 3 card come out.
Yeah.
But those because they're double regions on all of them, it gets really bad.
That
so you got mountains. Like, you can't be dealing with that for too long.
No. I mean, I think we got lucky that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got very lucky because I hunted for that flame regeneration.
Something renewal.
Yeah, flaming renewal. I hunted for that specifically because I was like, I know Mike can get a lot of usage out of it. Blazing renewal. I hunted for that because I was like, I know Mike can get a lot of use out of this and we could do a lot of damage with it because we passed up other high damaging stuff.
Well, it's a great card, and like I think I said this during the game, but its main cost is that you've got to have destroyed presence, which is quite rare for most spirits.
I don't understand how I would use that card, in all honesty. I haven't found a single thing in the deck that meant I would discard my presence.
I mean, I could use it on you, but again, you'd have to have destroyed presence.
Yeah, and I don't.
You could have used it on me, actually. That's a point.
Target
you
spirit.
Didn't actually have to give it to me.
Huh. We went the entire game without noticing that.
Read the cards, children.
Although you needed the earth anyway, I didn't need the fire.
Yeah, I mean, I needed the earth to cast this, though, didn't I?
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, it's.
I mean, it would have been better probably to pass it back to you because you had all the energy. I think it's.
Yeah, but I couldn't have done the extra damage.
It is. This game gets you so involved, and it's great for getting you super involved. There is so many modular things going on that affect the difficulty.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, we were putting out... So we're playing difficulty level 2, where there's 7 levels. There's base level, then there's level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can sort of combo things in different... you combine these things in different combinations, and there's actually sort of like almost like a sliding scale difficulty within the levels.
Especially with the scenarios.
Because certain things are just more difficult for other kinds of spirits, and some spirits make things easier, and certain spirits combo differently, and some spirits are just harder to play that can make things more difficult as well, or are very focused on like sort of certain aspects of the game to make them make it more difficult. And then you can also just flip over the board and play on the other side of the board.
Yeah, I wonder if we'd have done nearly as well if we were playing on that one. Because, as you say, it's more realistic, but at the same point...
So it tells you how to sort of set this up for two people in the... I don't know if these are the two segments that are supposed to go together or whatever. But
well, this is northwest and northeast, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, but it's...
Because it would be like that.
But and so what you see here, like for example, is this huge mountain range. Yeah. That's realistic, but it's not balanced.
No, because there's certain powers that just don't work there, like your ability to swamps and jungles. I love them because great
wetlands and jungles. Yeah.
Wetlands and jungles.
So, like for example, here, if you look, this is all sand. This is all mountains. If I'm going to expand with spread of rampant green, I can only get around this side of the map. I can't even go down here, or it's going to be, because I have to take my growth action, it's going to be a lot more challenging for me to penetrate this area.
Yeah.
Of course, if you've got Entwined Spirits, it doesn't really matter.
No, because that just, I love where it got to the point where we were everywhere, because we're like all of my land, all of my presence was sacred. So any spell that required a sacred presence, he was probably bouncing off of me, or he had his own there. And that was the thing. I wanted all of this on the board. You wanted some of them in your discard.
Actually, I think these are supposed to fit together like this.
Yeah, it fits perfect.
And then you've got these scenarios which just fundamentally change the way the game works. And I'll show you Rituals of Terror, because this one's one I've actually tried. And it's really difficult. So it says, and you notice here that this says it's notably easier for spirits with strong Dahan movement, like Thunder Speaker. It says in a solo game, it's notably harder for a spirit with poor energy generation or slow presence placement. So you'd want to maybe play Spread of Rampant Green or something. If you look, what this changes about the game is the way in which fear works entirely. So you take the terror tiles out of the fear deck, and then you have to do a Ritual of Terror in order to place one of those tiles. And when you do the Ritual of Terror, you get to play all the fear cards you've earned. But in order to perform the Ritual of Terror, you need a land with at least one presence from each spirit playing the game. There needs to be 3 Dahan per player in that land. And the spirits collectively spend 3 energy and destroy 3 presence in the land to carry out the ritual.
Okay.
That is so difficult.
Yeah.
And if you look, this is difficulty level 3. So that's crazy to me. That's just like that. And so all of these scenarios here, there's 4 of them in the core set. They all change the game fundamentally in some way.
Yeah.
Blitz actually just makes it faster. Blitz doesn't really make it more difficult at all. It just changes rules about the game and the way it's played. But the rest of these sort of Guard the Isles hard gives you sort of territory control and lands you need to defend. And the Dahan Insurrection. So this one has you moving Dahan around the map, and they do damage as they move. And then the invaders respond by putting out more explorers and stuff.
Yeah.
Military response, so it sort of creates a bit more of a war between the invaders and the Dahan, and that's all cool. But I mean, the fundamental structure of the game, which is what we played without a scenario, honestly, I think is great fun.
I'm actually very surprised that we managed to keep the island healthy. There were a couple of moments where it was more than touch and go.
Well, I as Spread of Rampant Green, I'm quite obsessive about Blight.
Yes, but also the fact that I gave you 2 things to counter Blight.
Yes.
It was just like, I found this. I can't cast this because it requires water. Here you go. And that worked out really well.
But there we go. So level 2, doable, even with a slight city boost. Putting out a few more cities than we had to.
Yep. I'm impressed that we managed to do that, because I got really annoyed with myself for the first turn because that was dumb. That was just dumb. But even then, clawed it back.
But what do you think about... So one of the things I think I quite like about it is that it's sort of like it's impossible to sort of follow everything, right? Like I think that you've got to sort of just focus on the problems you've got to solve and rely on your partners to resolve the problems they've got to solve.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you and I even were in this playthrough getting sort of a bit wrapped up in maybe like trying to do too much. And then confusing ourselves.
I did find it funny when we got to that point. Like, right, we need to stop. There's four blights that are going to happen. We need to stop at least 2 of them to stop this from going to pot. I was like, well, I can stop that one easily. And then I really had to overthink how to stop that one, and it turned out it was a very easy solution with the cards I had. And if I'd stopped for 5 seconds and just been like, no, that would have been, no, we're good because you can defend that one, and then we only lose 1.
I think that there is. I think it's easier to compartmentalize the problems like that. Like this, if we don't want the healthy island to become blighted, we need to do this and this and this. If we don't want a blight cascade, we need to make sure that's a priority.
Blight cascades scared me. We never let one happen, but it scared the crap out of me, the thought of them.
Well, it's very, very easy for the island for you to go from like healthy island to like
you die
to losing very, very quickly.
Just so we can say, I didn't actually know what this was. So, memory fades to dust. At the start of each invader phase, each spirit forgets power or destroys one of their presence. So that's how I could have lost presence, but by that point, that's probably quite bad.
Yeah. I don't think you want the Blighted Island to become...
No, but that's the thing. We had no idea what that was. Apparently there's 2 of them.
Yeah, you've got a second card somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what it does, but... that little bit of mystery as well of I'm not sure what's going to happen and it's bad and I don't want to...
So this one's got slightly more blight on it than the other one. So the other one you're more likely to die quickly. But this says at the start of each invader's phase, each spirit destroys a presence.
Huh.
So that one has forget a power or destroy a presence, but there's less blight on it, which means you're going to lose faster. Whereas this one says you have to destroy a blight, but a presence. But then you get slightly more blight on it, so you lose slightly slower.
Yeah, ironically for you, that would have been like, right, this plays entirely into my hands.
Ish. I mean, for me, the thing is, it's about my power here. Choke the land with green. I can prevent invaders from ravaging or building by destroying one of my presence. I
thought that was steady regeneration that changes, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if the land's blighted, it costs you energy per destroyed presence you add. Yeah.
Oh no! So that's when I put
which you didn't do once this entire game,
actually. Well,
because the spell did it for you. So I don't know. The blight is scary because, especially the blight cascade, because it's like, oh, we've left it there. Crap, we stopped paying attention to that. Now it's all of here. And it's half the board.
But the thing is, as well, if you think about it, like, what do the invaders actually do, right?
Oh, I have plenty of ideas, and all of them are historically factual, and none of them are nice.
Kingdom of England, though. I mean, they win when they get a proud capital, which is 7 buildings, right?
Yeah.
Like 7 total towns and cities.
Yeah.
In a single land. That's an extra loss condition.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the invaders, all they really do is do more and more damage and create blight. So really what you're trying to avoid is a massive area just doing a massive ton of damage twice in a row. And that gets more dangerous when you've got the 3rd round, because then 2 of the 4 territories are activating every time.
I think...
But, I mean, if you can keep blight off the board, then actually you're not in that much danger.
No, but we did have to have a plan specifically of how we're getting rid of blight. And it took a while for that to actually kick in.
Yeah, well, you don't really start with any cards that allow you to do it.
No. That's the point of the game. But we went out of our way to, like, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. So we've got to find stuff.
I was just, role-playing, man. Spread a rampant green.
Shadows flicker like flame. Mm-hmm. I finally got the lightning. What? I burned things to the ground.
But your shadows flicker like flame, not lightning swift strike.
I know, but you know what? Screw it. I can have 2. I gave you fire.
That's true. But Reborn in Fire, it's like you were, renewing me. Man.
I'll get a library stamp renewed. But I did like that. I feel like
it's the one of the major criticisms I have of the game is that because it gives you so many modular ways to tweak the difficulty and it takes such a long time to play, there's a real danger that you sit down to have a fun experience and then you've sort of done something slightly wrong and it's just impossible.
Yeah, I love the fact the box says it's 90 to 120 minutes. I cannot see playing that quickly for a very long time, especially on the harder difficulties will either go incredibly well or you'll be dead by turn 2.
No, it still takes a long time if you're trying to lose. I mean, unless you're trying to lose. But it still takes a long time to lose, even on the harder difficulties. Although, having said that, I've not tried the super hard difficulties, so maybe I'm wrong.
But it's a good game. I like it. I would definitely play it again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the rating we have here is either, no, that's no good.
I would definitely play this again.
Yeah.
I'd like to experiment with a different spirit. However, I really, really like Shadows Flicker Like Flame. Even though the innate powers in this game I got very little use out of.
But one of the things about the spirits that also is very unique, but maybe not as apparent, are these presence trackers.
Yeah.
Because your tracker here, the fact that your energy generation goes from 0 up to 6, just straight up,
and 1
your
to 5
cards,
with very little,
with just one little stall in the middle. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah,
you become so strong really quickly if you're putting out presence.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at mine, like even though I grow a lot quicker than you, even when I'm fully grown, I'm
better.
You're better, and I've got these plant elements in there, which is great, but. It slows down my progression. I'll only ever get half as much energy generation as you can get.
But I would point out, like you get the elements you need to do your innate power. I don't have anything to help with this, and 1 moon on this would really make a difference because having 4 moon, 3 fire, and 2 air to get to your max. Getting 2 air is easy. Getting 3 fire is easy. That 4th moon really, really had to work for.
Yeah.
But it's good. I like him. And that special rule is quite fun. It's just like, spend an energy. The Dahan there, you can do it.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I think it combo quite well with Thunder Speaker, who specializes in moving around with the Dahan.
Yeah. I mean,
quite cool.
Probably the only thing I'd quite like to see is the Lightning Swift Strike. Because I did kind of get intrigued as to their ability to make any slow spell quick. Yeah,
so Lightning Swift Strike has like a sort of starting power that they can cast to make just 2 powers fast.
Yeah.
They've also got their inherent ability is that they can, for each feather element they wind up playing, they can pick a power, I think it might just be theirs, but it could be any power, I'm not sure.
I think it might be any.
And make it fast.
Yeah.
And the thing about, I like the challenge of the slow powers. Yeah. I think, having played this a bunch of times, I don't think the slow power is ever really advantageous. The only time it's super advantageous is when you can, when you intend to use it on something that's not yet been built.
Yeah.
So you're looking and you're going, well, they're going to build that here, or they're going to ravage there and create a blight. So I'll use this power that will then take care of that.
Yeah.
But that kind of planning is a lot to do on top of everything you're already doing. And I think the biggest challenge in this game really is keeping your head on top of what is happening.
Definitely. I have to say, though, I think on higher difficulties, you need that kind of... you need the choice of acceleration. Because you could be... I've got lots and lots of high damage cards, but I need to do the damage now. I can't wait, because if I wait, cascade.
Yeah.
And then that would really kick in on the high levels, where it's just like, okay, you can do it now. That's gone.
Well, I played with Lightning Swift Strike, and when I was playing with it, I was playing with my friend, and all of our powers were like fast the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's, which was great in a 2-player game. I think in a 3-player game, they'd be a bit less quick, but it really changes the sort of...
The dynamic.
It really changes the game a lot. And there was a turn where suddenly we didn't have that ability.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh shit, what do we do now?
Whereas we were planning around it.
Yeah, and I think with careful...
Although I was planning around it by not having the cards. That was my plan.
Your plan was to get rid of all the slow cards.
Yeah, which I did very, very well.
Yeah, you did that super efficiently.
Yeah, I quite like how that ended up. It's just like, right, slow cards are not helping me. They're not helping me do anything. I'm just going to get rid of them. I mean, by the end of it, I had used up every single one of my starting powers as tribute for something else.
Yeah, you paid off 3 of them and given one to me.
Yeah. Hey, you found benefit for it.
I didn't use it once, but that's fine.
It was there as a sacrifice if need be.
Yeah, I was there if I needed it. But and also, that's a fun and interesting game is drafting the powers and choosing the consistency, not the constitution of minor and major powers, because obviously major powers are great and better, but also a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Plus, you really want to be comboing them with those elements, because if you're going to pay 5 money to get out a major power, there are some that cost 2 or 3 that are good and well worth having and using without the elemental bonus.
Yeah.
But if you're going to pay a lot of money to get out a major power,
you want the additional.
You want to make sure you're getting the element bonus as well, so that makes that sort of matching game a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And important.
Yeah.
And Elemental Boon, another card that we played.
Got that first turn, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kept that bugger.
The minute it showed up, we both knew how important that was, just from one game, having seen it before.
Yeah.
And I think you played it like every turn or something.
I think the only time I didn't play it was when I had the constants, and I was like, "Do you need the boon?" No, I did play it because I asked you, "Do you need constant my constants? Do you need me to get the elemental boon back? Because if not, I'm doing the overgrow."
And it's because these innate powers are really strong, and being able to duplicate those elements are really strong.
Well, yours especially, because it's do this, next level, do it again, next level, do it again.
Yeah.
And the increase for you wasn't actually that high, because you only needed 2 elements.
Well, I've got 2.
Of which you gave yourself 2 of them.
So I've got 2 innate powers, and one of them is quite cheap to cast.
Yeah.
The other's a lot more expensive, but I think it's it's better.
And also you give yourself the element.
I get plants eventually as well, so I can sort of get...
It's easy to get around it.
No, it's not easy, but it's
easier.
I mean, I didn't get the second plant icon until like the last tournament. It didn't matter.
Yeah. But that's because we dealt with it with other means. Yeah, but the thing I benefited a lot, like when Mike used this card on me a lot, Gift of Proliferation, because it was just where I'm having to not add presence to the board. I think for a couple of turns that was the only way I got on the board at all. And then again when he traded me and I got that.
I like the idea of fire overgrowing. That's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah. But they are very useful style spells. And the second that we became able to trade them, or in your case you sacrificed one, which hurt me, but not to the point where I was too esteemed by it.
Yeah, what was annoying was I think one of the ones I kept, which was this one, Stem the Flow of Fresh Water. I was thinking, I'll need that for damage later. I don't think I used it once again.
No, you could definitely have got rid of that.
Yeah.
But then it becomes how many spells can you cast? Because I tried to get to 4 as soon as I could. I was stuck with 3 spells and 3 energy for quite a while because I just couldn't get the board presence out because you'd used the Gift of Proliferation as a sacrifice.
Yeah. And
then it was only a couple of turns in where you then gave me Overgrown. And that sort of dug me out of the hole.
But, that was a good thing because I grow every turn anyway. That's fine.
Yeah. But it was good. I really like this game. I think some of the other kingdoms would be very scary depending on what you're expecting, because England is focused on building cities, so we focused on we need to kill the cities, we need to burn the buildings down. How do we do that? Whereas, say, Sweden or Prussia, Brandenburg.
It's weird, this game, because every time I play it, it feels like an exhausting social experiment. And I'm like, we're going at this again, and it's like, and now this happens, and now this happens, and more stuff's appearing. And it just seems like, at least for the first sort of 60% of the game, like relentless and impossible. And then by the time it becomes sort of even remotely doable, it escalates so quickly, the game's almost over. And I'm like, oh my god. But every time I'm finished, I'm like, I want to play again. I want to try again. I want to make this harder or change that. I'm not a big fan of the scenarios because I feel like they're a bit too difficult and they change it a bit too...
They force you down a very specific path.
Yeah, and they make it so difficult. But to be fair, maybe if I played it a few more times, I'd feel differently.
Yeah.
And
maybe not all 2-player games, that's the other thing.
Yeah, as well, like you might find they're a lot better with more players.
That is true of games. There's certain aspects of it that scale much better with larger numbers of players.
And it's nice to have the option. It doesn't cost me anything to have those scenarios, and I don't have to play with them.
Yeah.
There's enough interesting variety in the spirits, and the adversaries, and the difficulty level, and the 2 boards that I'm not really worried.
However, epic.
Shadow and Flame. Best spirit.
Yep. When he's teamed up with his friend, a spread of rampant greed.
Well, that's it. It's like I spread out, and then you set me on fire, and we burn everything together, including me.
You grow back.
Yeah, blazing renewal.
And then I drop lightning from the sky because I stole someone's thunder. I'm not going to apologise for that.
I think with that, it's probably time for us to go.
Edit that out.
I dare you. Cut out my comedy gold.
That's brass, if anything.
Tarnished brass.
Yeah. The worst kind.
The worst kind of brass.
Neck brass.
So I guess one final thing to mention just really quickly. The game does retail at about £75.
Very good quality, but
it's very high quality. There's a lot of fun, fancy components, but that is quite dear. So I guess you've got to decide if it's a co-op experience that's worth it to you.
Yeah, I mean, there's solo play, but this is definitely one of those ones.
There is solo play, yeah. And it's not bad. Yeah. But the problem is with the solo plays, you wind up talking to yourself.
And then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this.
And then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And
Mike,
then they go, who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to? Nobody!
Nobody.
And then I burn it to the ground! Seriously, who are you talking to?
The keeper of dreams and nightmares.
But he can't burn anything down.
He's
the one spirit that's incapable of doing any actual damage to the world. I find that really funny. It's like, I can terrify you, but nothing actually happened.
Well, you move around a lot.
True.
Run away. Run away!
Yeah. The only thing he can damage is his own presence.
Run away! Well, we'll be back tomorrow for an entirely different adventure. Something else.
Something new.
Maybe. Might be something old. But something new for us. For the channel.
And on that very strange note, I think we'll say goodbye.
Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for coming on this adventure with us.
Hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll be back tomorrow.
Bye.